as we have everyone kind of settles in, we're going to go ahead and kick off and introduce ourselves. So my name is Kelly Crabtree. I am a career ambassador, which is why I'm here presenting to you today, and this is my 4th semester doing so. I am an English major and with a minor in Spanish, and these are my 2 lovely co-presenters.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a junior, and I'm majoring in political science with a minor in business administration, and this is my 2nd semester as a career ambassador.
Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Miller. I'm a sophomore, double majoring in business administration and international studies, as well as minoring in Spanish, and this is my 3rd semester as a career ambassador.
So just to get a quick feel on the room, how many fellow CHAS majors do I have here? Awesome. College of Engineering? Do I have any CALS people? College of Sciences? Anybody else that I left out? I know I left
Cool.
people out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little.
Hey, natural resources. Here. Okay, there's a couple.
You would think I'd remember Paul since they have a career fair actually coming up.
Yeah.
Early February.
Second.
So y'all, again, will just have to call me out if I forget anybody. Awesome. Looks like we have really good representation of many of the colleges here today. So, and also just to get a little bit more of a feel in the room, how many of y'all have been to career fairs before? Awesome. So a good number of you. That's fantastic. So hopefully this will help you brush up on skills or learn new skills that you might not have had before. So going forward, as you come to more launches throughout the semester, hopefully, these are the faces that you will be seeing. This is the Career Ambassador team. We're all undergraduates. We all work for the Career Development Center, and we hope just to teach you professional development topics through the student perspective. You know, as fellow students, hopefully, we can be a lot more relatable than maybe some of the other presentations you might typically go to.
Okay, so I'm going to give you all an outline of what we're going to be going over today. The first thing is going to be, of course, how to prepare for a career fair. We're super glad to have you all here. I know it's the first week back after the snow days, so we're still getting settled in, but we're really glad to have you here, especially with the upcoming career fairs in the coming weeks. The second one is going to be what and what not to wear. If you've ever been to a launch before, you may notice that me and my counterparts are not in our usual uniform that we wear. We are all exhibiting a different look for career fairs, and we'll go over those later. And then the last one is how to give a winning elevator speech. Does anybody know what an elevator speech is? Okay, only like 2 people, so this is really exciting. So by the time you walk out the door, you'll know exactly what that is, and you'll be prepared for the career fair.
So before we get into getting really into what you need for a career fair and talking for the next 15 minutes, have you guys get up and do activities, we have a quick video demonstrating how to do a proper handshake, because this is your first impression, going up with that smile and handshake, and a lot of people don't know the nuances of how to give a good handshake.
Hi, I'm Faye Desmoichant, here with you from Social Skills to chat with you about how to shake hands. There are a few really important aspects to shaking hands. Number 1, you should be standing up when you shake hands. No matter where you are, you should make sure you're standing up to shake hands. Also, as you shake hands, there are a few critical aspects to it. This is considered the web of your hand. You want to make sure that you're touching the web of the other person's hand as you shake hands. Now, there's a couple of different handshakes out there. One I like to call the Queen's shake, where you give a half handshake. It's not correct. And actually, women in general in the United States of America tend to get really offended by that type of handshake because they feel that if a man is giving a half handshake, it's disrespectful. So, men and women, make sure that you touch the web of the hand to the other person's web. As you shake hands, be sure that you give a firm grip. Now, you don't want it to be so firm that you're injuring the other person, but it needs to be a firm grip. You can actually blow, making a great handshake by not giving a firm grip. Additionally, as you shake hands with a person, you should be shaking the entire time that it takes both of you to introduce yourselves. So, instead of dropping your hand after you introduce yourself, make sure that you are shaking for the entire time that the other person is introducing him or herself. So, sometimes people say it's 3 shakes, but it's actually not. It's shaking the entire time that it takes for both of you to introduce yourselves. Also, as you shake hands, make sure that you are using your eye contact. You should be looking at the person the entire time that you're shaking hands. Also, smile. Smile is a really important part of making a good first impression as you shake hands. It actually makes you seem a lot warmer and a lot more friendly. Also, make sure that your body language is good. You don't want to be slumped over giving your handshake. Make sure that you're standing up straight with your shoulders back. As you're shaking hands, you want to introduce yourself. As you introduce yourself, make sure that you use your first and your last name. In my case, it's, hi, I'm Faye Desmoichant. I have a bit of a tricky last name, so I usually put a pause in between my first and my last name. So if you have a tricky last name, just make sure that you say it slowly and you enunciate it. In fact, you might want to practice it a few times in front of the mirror. And that's how you shake hands and introduce yourself.
So we'd like to give you all an opportunity to practice shaking your handshake right now. So we're going to give you guys about 2 minutes to get up and mingle amongst each other, introduce yourselves. These are people that will be going through the launch series with you. They might be nice to know a face later on down the line. And to practice your handshake as described in the video. What questions do you all have about the activity? If there are no questions, then please stand up and let's begin.
Nice to meet you. Probably shouldn't do finger
It's awkward, right?
Hi, I'm Amber. Parker.
I'm
Hi, I'm Fred. Yes, I'm Laura. Oh, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Kelly Granger.
Hi, Kelly. I'm Lori Shaw.
Nice to meet you. Junior. Yep. Nice to meet you. I'm Lucy. Hi, I'm Fred. Nice to meet you.
We hope you've had an opportunity to practice your firm handshake and a warm smile, but we've got to keep the launch movement.
Okay, so can we raise hands again for how many of you have been to a career fair? Okay, so for those of you that have been, you probably know it's very important to prepare. I myself did not know before I became a career ambassador that's extremely important to research your companies before you actually go to said career fair. So we're going to be sharing that with you all today. So one of the ways that you can research is, of course, just by Googling companies that you might be interested in. But here at NC State, we also offer this service called EPAC, which is NC State Job and Internship Search Tool that's just specific for NC State. So you can go on EPAC and you can look up the event that you're interested in, which would be the career fair. And it will give you a list on the website of what companies are going to be at said career fair. So I mean, there could be up to 100 or more companies. So you can look through that. Also, they will probably have a map on the website, EPAC, where you can see where the companies that you're interested in hitting are going to be in the room. So if the career fair is in the McKimmon Center across the street, or if it's here in Tally, it'll show you where their booths are going to be set up. We also encourage you all to make a list of what your top companies are. So maybe your A companies and then B, C, D. And it's also a good idea to maybe hit your lower level companies first to just kind of build up your confidence, because if this is your first career fair, or even if you're a veteran, you might be a little bit nervous just going right up to, IBM or Microsoft if you're in that, and talking to them. So maybe look at your other options first, and definitely bring your business cards with you to hand out, and also bring resumes with you to hand out. We're going to talk more about that later. we're gonna get into our first activity. So this is another like get up activity. So if y'all wouldn't mind standing before I explain the rest.
We're very high energy, we're very excited.
Yeah, we're a very interactive group.
Very thrilled for the career.
So this is just a would you rather activity. So I'm gonna say something, and then if you would rather, I'm gonna give you two options, and if I'll tell you which side to go on. So if you would rather, when like considering a career, if you'd rather work in the city or a metropolitan area, go to this side, or if you'd rather work in like the suburbs or more rural, go on this side. That's a pretty even. If you would rather work at a job that is within 10 minutes of your house, let's go on this side, or if you'd rather work at a job that, or if you'd be willing to work at a job that's a little bit further from your house, go on this side. For those of you that are interested in a job that requires travel, if you'll go on this side, or if you want to be in a job that doesn't require travel, go on this side. This was a little bit similar, but kind of different. If you want to work in an office, you'll go on this side. If you want a job where you don't have an office and you are just like traveling about during the day and you never, it's kind of, you're not sure what you're gonna do each day, go on this side, if that makes sense. And the last question I'll ask you is, if you're considering a job, like right out of the gate, a postgraduate job, are you looking for a job that's gonna be more short-term and you know what your longer-term goals are, or are you looking for a career, like right out of the gate, if that makes sense? So like, I'll say if you're wanting to go to grad school, or yeah, some form of grad school, law school, med school, go on this side, or if you're looking to get right into the workforce, go on this side. So the reason we did this activity is, of course, to get everybody moving around and energetic. But the main reason is because these are the kind of things that you need to consider, even if you are just an underclassman right now attending a career fair. These are the kind of things you want to consider when applying for internships, applying for jobs, even just speaking to employers at the career fair, because you want to know what your short-term goals are right after graduation. Are you willing to move away from your family? Are you willing to go out of the state? Do you want a job that requires a lot of movement, or do you want something that's a little more stable? So definitely, as you're navigating the job search process, keep these things in mind.
Thank you, everyone. You can have a seat now. It's also, as you go into a career fair, while you're preparing, very important to research the companies that you'll be talking to. We know the former career ambassador who went to a career fair when he was a freshman or a sophomore and approached, I believe it was Volvo, believing he already knew what they did. They made cars, and once he got to talking to them and said this to the employer, he found out that he was incorrect. That's not all they do.
And he was a little embarrassed, so just make sure you don't put your foot in your mouth. Like, you want to make a good impression.
Is there like a short list of topics that we should learn about each company? Like things specifically, like if we had to generalize it across all the companies, like what should we look for in each?
Well, going to a career fair is a good way to learn more about companies, but you should typically know what the company does.
What their industry is, I would say.
Yes.
Don't ask them how much they make. Never. That's like extremely rude. That's something you should look up on their website. Like if you want to know what a starting salary is.
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering is what
Yeah.
should we look up to know like how to conduct a conversation with this person?
I would look up, you could look at their staff page. I know every company will like show you their staff. So for me, like I'm going in political science, so I would look at a law firm and I could look at all the different attorneys, what type of law they practice. So you would look up do you know what you want to do post-grad?
Supply chain.
Supply chain. Okay, so you would look at a website and you could look at the staff, see who's involved in supply chain, what their specific job is, and so you could say, I saw on your website that you're involved in the manufacturing of so-and-so. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? So just let them know that you have researched. Don't just ask like a vague, I would say don't ask a vague, open-ended question like, so what do you do?
I would add on to that and say, other than just knowing what they do, maybe any goals they have made, opportunities you'd be interested in, any new products or services they've revealed or they're building up, anything that could be a general conversation starter you're going to want to know, as well as the basics of what this company is.
They'll appreciate your curiosity, and another good question would be, how can I be preparing now to do what you do? They'll really appreciate that.
Definitely, you should know what you're interested in the company going up to them, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But now we're going to move ahead to what to wear. So we have decided to ditch our usual CA uniforms in favor of outfits that are acceptable to wear to a career fair, just so you can see them live in action. And we apologize to all the guys in the room. We unfortunately don't have any male career ambassadors presenting with us today, but
we
we
will have
will
some
go
pictures.
over it. We will go over it for sure. So you have two options, business casual, business professional. Business professional is going to be a little bit more formal, darker colors. You can see the color schemes, maybe not very well in this PowerPoint, but we'd be happy to answer questions. And like we said, we'll go over pictures, so you'll get to see more examples. But you're typically going to have a suit jacket. Ladies, you can have a skirt to your knee or slacks, low heels. Make sure you're dressing conservatively. And then for our guys in the room, you're going to want to match your belt to your shoes. And then business casual look, which is something like I know that I have on. Ladies, you can pair it with a cardigan. You can also wear a dress. More patterns and colors are acceptable. And again, you're going to make sure that your skirt is at least fingertip length, preferably to the knees. And again, flats or heels are acceptable. But if you're wearing heels, make sure that they're low. And in my opinion, it's even better because they're more comfortable when they're lower.
I know that was a lot of information. The main difference for women between business casual and business professional, in business casual, which is pretty much what I'm wearing right now, you do not need to wear a blazer. Business professional, you do need to wear a blazer. So definitely when you're going, I know the pool, especially for like job fairs and different events, they're very strict on their dress code. So just make sure that you read the listing for the event, and if it says business professional, you just know that you need to wear a jacket.
That's awesome. And maybe, Michaela, you also want to explain what you're wearing and why you chose it?
Sure. So I just have a white shirt, just because it's plain. Black blazer. You're gonna want to go something dark colored. What color is okay to you? I have a blue suit, for example, back in my dorm, and a knee-length kind of pencil skirt. Just because you're going to want a skirt that's gonna go down and make sure it's not too tight or that's gonna rise up when you're walking as well.
Definitely. All right, so we're going to do a bit of an activity where we're just going to go through these pictures and we want a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think that it's acceptable or not acceptable
For a career fair.
for a career fair. So can I get a thumbs up or thumbs down on this picture? Thumbs up. Awesome. To those of you who said thumbs up, does anyone want to tell me why you think so? There is candy involved.
Yeah.
If you like Reese's. I saw in the back.
His shoes match his tie, he has a blazer on, it's darker than his shirt, and he looks clean, cut.
What's your name?
Buddy.
Thank you so much, Claudia.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Get a thumbs up or thumbs down? Seeing some thumbs up. Does someone who have their thumbs up want to tell me why they think so? All right, right here.
She's wearing darker colors and flats, and it's pretty modest. Her pants aren't too tight, and she's not showing cleavage or anything like that, so it's modest.
Great, thank you so much. What's your name?
Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. All right, can we get a thumbs up or thumbs down for these students? All right, so a lot of thumbs down. Can I get someone to explain? All right.
They're wearing jeans and like t-shirts?
Right. Blue jeans are never acceptable. I know that for my first interview that I went on, I was going to be an RA my freshman year, and I just assumed, I didn't have any of my roommates in the dorm at the time when I was leaving, but I thought that dark blue jeans and a blouse would be acceptable. And to my dismay, it was not when I showed up to the interview and everyone else was wearing skirts and suits. So definitely good thing to keep in mind. Thumbs up or thumbs down? All right. Anyone want to explain?
Dude looks good. Full on suit, dress shoes, looks crisp.
Really, what's your name?
I'm Steven
Thank you,
Brown.
Stephen.
Thank you for the research.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? All right, I'm seeing some thumbs down. Anyone want to explain? All right.
Wearing a sweatsuit.
Hopefully this one's pretty self-explanatory.
Definitely. In your name?
Oh, Abby.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. Thumbs up, thumbs down? Awesome. Anyone want to explain?
Someone from the edges of the room would explain. The
Yeah.
middle's doing all the labor here.
Like I said, we're students. We know why you guys sit on the end of the room, the edges of the room. Anyone there want to explain?
No one?
Okay.
Yeah, they're all dressed conservatively, and they're wearing suits, and they're wearing modest dresses, and everything. Somewhat the same color spectrum, except for the rock that. They're all wearing low heels, and they're all.
Thank you so much. Thumbs up, thumbs down? All right. Can I get an explanation? You wanna share what you think, sir?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, she looks like Michaela. Michaela looks good, so.
Good answer.
All right, so we're gonna move right along. Thank you so much for your participation.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
So everybody, I'm Lori Goshal. I work with the Career Development Center. I want to go back to the picture of the young man in the sweats. So I had a student come to me, and he was dressed similar to that. And he was from China. He's an international student. And he said, I want to go to the engineering career fair, but I have nothing else with me but this. I did not bring any dressy clothes. And I can't call my mother and have her send them. Should I go to the career fair? What do you all think? Yes.
Don't they have clothes in pool college that you can loan or use for career fairs?
I think they do in pool. I know we do at the Career Development Center.
Okay.
So good. That's a very good option. But he was not finding anything that fit. So then what?
Then, yeah, I'd say still try it out. Sell it with your personality more than what you're wearing.
Anybody else? Yeah?
No, because you're not making a good first impression.
Can't hear you.
No, because you're not making a good first impression.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Put on the clothes anyways, they don't fit. Go.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with, what is your name?
Claudine.
Claudine. I'm going to go with Claudine. Sell it, right? Sell it. Why should he cut himself short? And, he can just not say anything and just have his personality show. Or he could tell people, I'm very sorry, I don't have a professional outfit, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity. So I would say don't cut yourself short.
That's an excellent point. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
And I actually want to point out that the outfit I'm wearing right now, minus the shoes, are from the clothing closet in the Career Development Center because I am forgetful. I had a hectic morning and I forgot to bring my own clothes for this presentation. So it's an excellent resource if you're ever caught on campus without the things that you need. Ooh, little sneak peek.
So what should you bring to a career fair? I would start off with a portfolio. If you don't have one, you can pick them up at just about any store that sells general office goods and school supplies. If you don't have one, a regular folder will do. You just want something that can hold all your papers and anything else you pick up along the way. And inside, you're going to want a pad of paper to write on, take notes, especially people's names, their contact information if they offer it. If you have business cards, which we do suggest you get, but we understand some of the career fairs are coming up and you may not be able to get them in time, definitely go ahead and bring those along. Your resumes, which would sit nicely inside as well, which I think our next launch next week will be on resumes, so it'll be great. And a pen or pencil to write with. Make sure you are not bringing any big bags. I do know McKimmon Center doesn't even allow backpacks anymore. So be careful, make sure if you're bringing a small purse or other bag that it fits the sizing restrictions. And also a smile and a good attitude. You may have just come from class, it may have been a long week, these are typically at the end of the week. Be ready to meet with people and put your best foot forward because, like we've said all throughout this presentation so far, this is, your first impression, your one shot, and you want to make it really good.
Okay, so when you arrive, first of all, make sure you arrive pretty early because you want to make sure you're accounting for traffic. Life happens. So if you have class right before, make sure that you bring your clothes with you so you can change. Make sure you get there in plenty of time to sign in. So once you get there, I know at the McKimmon Center, and I'm pretty sure in Tally as well, you'll have to sign in at the front desk, and they'll give you a name tag. So the future employers that you're talking with already know your name once you introduce yourself. Make sure, try not to be too nervous. Give yourself a minute to take some deep breaths. Once you walk in, like we mentioned earlier, it's a good idea to build your confidence and maybe visit some of the lower level companies that you're looking at potentially. And do you have anything to add?
I would just add that if you go ahead and RSVP on EPAC, likely they may already have a name tag for you, but if not, don't worry. They typically have name tags where you can write in your information.
One more thing is you don't want to bring bulky bags with you. You don't want to be trudging through a career fair in your nice clothes with all your stuff in your book bag. So if you could, I know even at the gym for free now you can lock up your stuff. So that might be a good option if you're coming straight from class or something.
All right, so here is the big moment that you've all been waiting for, how to speak to the employers, which I know, of course, can be very intimidating. So, on your handouts that you got when you walked in, don't panic if you don't have one. We will be happy to provide those for you. We have some extra up here. You can just put a hand up and maybe Sophie or Michaela can bring one over to you. We have one person over here who needs one, 2 people who need one. There are more outside, should be. So we're going to go over how to speak to the employers. On the handouts, if you don't have one yet, they are coming. You can also look at your neighbors. We have the bare bones of an elevator. It's called an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is typically 30 to 40 seconds, just talking about who you are, what your goals are, what skills you bring to the table, and then you would ask an employer about the company that they work with. It's always good to end on a question. And we also have an activity for this plan. So can I get a volunteer?
Actually, Kelly, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. If you did not get one of these papers and would like one, if you can come afterwards and give us your email and we can email it to you.
All right, awesome. We had a really good turnout then. All right. So can I get a volunteer? Awesome. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Justin.
Nice to meet you, Justin. So we have a setup over here, and I know that you on the other side of the room can't see it. Unfortunately, we don't have very good placement, but we will be calling out what we write on this for you, and maybe we can walk it around afterwards so everybody gets a view of it. So Justin, if you can come over here. So what industry do you want to work in?
Community and consumer relations.
Community and consumer relations, for those of you on the other side of the room.
And while Kelly and Justin are doing this, if you guys want to work out your own example elevator pitch using this format as well, you can go along with that.
Right, you can take notes on the back of the page. All right, so do you know where you might want to find this?
Either Washington or Back in Fayetteville or Boston.
wherever I can find you.
Do you know in what kind of environment?
Yeah, I think in sports, like for a sports team, or the city.
Okay.
For those of you who couldn't hear, he said he wants to work for a sports team or
Development, like city.
or a
development.
city development.
All right. And why do you want to do this?
It's interesting. I like to hear input from people in the community so we make right decisions.
Justin likes to hear input from other people to make correct decisions. He sounds like a problem solver.
How do you plan to do this? And what kind of skills do you plan to implement?
Interpersonal communication, being genuine. I feel like I'm genuine, honestly.
He plans to implement genuity, is that a word? Genuity, possibly he wants to be genuine and use interpersonal skills.
And do you have any experience that would help you?
What was the last one?
Any experience?
Well, I've done 2 internships in nonprofit for Peace Company.
He has not done corporate internships, he has done nonprofit work.
All right. And what would you say your passion for this is?
Building genuine connections.
His passion is building genuine connections. And notice just through Justin's elevator speech, can anyone tell me what is like the common thread that runs through that pitch? Because there's one word I heard that like, I'll see if the volunteer, I know Kelly knows.
We're gonna come back around. We're gonna come back around for that.
Okay.
All right. So based off of what you have up here, do you think that you can construct 1 to 2 sentences? Would you like to write it here?
Can I get the cheat sheet real quick?
Yep, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be in that format. You can just construct 2 free sentences. And while he's constructing that, yeah, absolutely. So while he's doing that, I'll do a bit of self-disclosure. Dr. Goshal and I went over this on Friday with my own goals and got a lot of really good feedback. So it's just a little bit to help you break away maybe from the bare bones that you have on your handout and just see different formats and different ways of presenting yourself to employers. Does anybody have any questions so far about what I've gone over? Does anyone want me to repeat anything so far? Typically, if you feel uncomfortable with an elevator pitch or you haven't done one yet, you haven't given one yet, you are more than welcome just to use the bare bones that are on the handout. That's what that's for. You can fill in the blanks as you want. You can write it on the back of the sheet. And also, it really helps just to stand in front of the mirror in your apartment, dorm room, parents' house, and just practice it. Just look at yourself in the mirror and just give the elevator speech over and over again, which might
Or
sound
practice with
silly.
a pal or a roommate.
Absolutely,
They're good for
which
that
can be even better once you build up your confidence a bit. And it's a really good way to practice. It might seem silly, but it will help you.